This is Pat Ennis of ENNIS Legacy Partners. Welcome to the Exit Readiness Podcast. I'm here today with business partner Corby McGordon. Our mission here on the podcast is to provide you, the business owner, with subject matter expertise on topics pertaining to building transferable or sellable business value and for planning that eventual exit from the business. We want to help you build a business that is transferable and then help you exit on your own terms and conditions. So for today, this episode, artificial intelligence or AI is absolutely going to play a role. It already is, but it's going to play a significant role in how you build a business that's actually going to be sellable for maximum value in the future. And so today's episode is one in a new series that we've created, AI and Exit Planning. We're finding that not a few business owners are still mystified or at least hesitant about how to use AI and increasing the value of their business. Reasons that would include, but not limited to, perceived complexity and cost. A 2024 U.S. Chamber of Commerce report found that 58% of small businesses believe AI is too expensive or too technical to implement. There's still a lack of clear cases where there's proven return on ROI, return on investment. There can be a hesitancy or fear about replacing the human element of customer and client relationships. There's still a level of a lack of confidence regarding how it works, how much it can be trusted, how to choose tools that are being developed and created. And so it can be mystifying. But today, prepare to be demystified, because our topic for discussion today is demystifying AI. And our guest is Nick Damoulakis, president of Orases. Nick has the privilege of leading a smart and talented Orases team across a variety of disciplines and clients, including the NFL, Major League Baseball, Johns Hopkins University, Kimberly-Clark, Walter Reed Hospital, just to name a few. The company has achieved 30% growth year over year, over 25 years. They're celebrating their 25th anniversary. And while maintaining a net promoter score of 85, very impressive, turnover rate below 5%, which results in a tremendous competitive edge for the company. And with over 20 years in the digital space, Nick is both a creative problem solver, he's a strategic visionary, he's a thought leader. He authored the Digital Framework, an interactive methodology that helps organizations align values with culture, leadership style, and strategic objectives. And under Nick's leadership, Orases, they've earned various awards, both locally here in the DC area as well as national. And so, Nick, it's a pleasure to have you with us. Welcome to the podcast. Great to have you with us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah. So Nick, that topic of the mystery of AI, owners, they should do something, but they don't know what. Where do they start? Where should they start?
Yeah, that's a good question, man. There's a lot there, I always start things off with really everyone understanding that we're, as of today, November 7th, about 1,073 days into AI. So that's it. That's really not a lot of time. We're at this skimming the surface of where we are with AI, and we'll talk about that. I think, with that said, being only 1,073 days in on this, I think we really need to talk about the state of where companies are at, which, they have a fear of missing out right now, that anxiety of missing out. They have that fear that they don't know where to start, which we can talk about that today on give them some tools and techniques on where to start. There's a big fear of, hey, the competitors are getting ahead. There's we all have competitors, and what are the competitors doing? How are they solving problems with AI? How are they getting more efficient? So there's a fear there. I also think there's a fear of digital fatigue, I call it. Just all these amounts of monies and budgets that were allocated for past technology projects that didn't pan out. And as we all know, if you listen to this podcast, it's there's a lot of people that spend a lot of money in digital solutions that promised a lot, and the ROI wasn't there. So there's that fear of spending money with no ROI. And where I also like to focus, most importantly, is our we don't have companies if we don't have people, and there's a fear of what it will do to our culture. So I kind of look at all those fears and really want to have answers to each one of them, so we can help companies advance. Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah. Does that mean, like, I think owners can think, well, AI is going to change everything I do. Um, and they have processes, they have ways of doing business. How do those two meet? AI
well,
and their existing
yeah,
way of doing business.
I, I think that's a great place to start. And you know, I always look at business as the famous S curve, the S curve we all know. Over time, we have growth in our business. At some point, every business plateaus. Every business. I don't care who you are. You're always going to hit some plateau at some point. And you have to make a decision at that plateau of how you're going to handle jumping the S curve to the next level, right? So several companies are in this plateau. They're not growing to the numbers they want. And they have to make a strategic inflection point of, hey, are we going to stay stagnant, or are we actually going to make some jump here? And, what we have to challenge our companies with is AI doesn't solve everything, but if there is um, an opportunity where you can jump the S curve, meaning going from one plateau to another business model that allows you to exceed to a better place before you plateau again. AI is probably playing in that new S curve, right? Probably. So you really have to look at it strategically first. You're in the S curve now. You're having this growth. At some point, it's going to stagnate. You got to jump to the next S curve. And really, the question is, it's not just AI, pinpointing it to AI, but how can technology overall help us in what we do in our daily work at our companies?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. And then we know that, like, a plumber is not going to be replaced by AI. There are certain administrative services that seem to be very ripe for it. Just give owners a sense of, like, what kinds of things in their day-to-day life are the right places to say, yeah, that might be a spot to look at.
Yeah. That statement of, a plumber might not be replaced by AI today. Again, we're 1,073 days in. So maybe not today, but I do see a day where the blue collar jobs, sometimes from farming to plumbing to other aspects, a good portion of those things will be automated, and some things may be fully automated. Uh, you're already seeing that in Amazon with robots that are filling out shelves. They're going to start, putting product into trucks, right? So it's coming. It's coming quick, and you know, no industry's safe. We just happen as a software development company. We were the first hit. We were the first hit where software development. People used to be paying onshore prices for a good developer. Maybe you get someone for 100,000. Maybe it's 200, 300, $400,000 for a really good developer. And overnight, people believed what came out with the vibe coding and so forth. This has been commoditized, and now a developer should be $50, or $50 an hour. But it was the first hit where um, technologies came out where supposedly you could go to these sites and vibe code a solution, right? Now, again, 1,000 days in roughly, um, and it's totally dismantled companies that do software development, marketing, video, sound. Shoot, even this podcast, you can edit the whole thing with AI. So what used to take a sound engineer a day to do, you can run it through AI and it gets rid of all the ums or pauses automatically for you and edits it, right? So there's opportunities everywhere for this stuff. And I think the thing we really have to look at is a mechanism of where do we, as companies, find where to start? Where do we start? And I think that's a really hard thing to figure out. And the way I like to work with clients on finding where to start is really auditing our own time, right? So when you look at where we spend our time and what we're actually doing in the time that we have, the limited time we have to work, um, that's one thing you can't buy is time, right? So I believe the first place to start is really an audit of your time. Looking, I just keep a sheet of paper next to me. And when something comes to me that I need to do, I usually ask myself, is this a job that is a minimum wage job, $50 an hour, $100, $200, $500, $1,000, $5,000 an hour job that I'm doing right now? And I just put a little note. Okay, right now I'm prepping for a meeting. That's prepping for a meeting. Let's talk about that, right? I write that down, along with other things. But I really hone in on prepping on meetings because what am I doing? I'm going on LinkedIn, right? I'm stalking people on every social media platform to learn more about them. I'm Googling them. I'm using Perplexity to maybe do a search on them. I'm learning about what schools they went to. Uh, all these things a minimum wage employee could do. And then you have to take all that information and turn it or data and turn it into information for me so I can absorb it quickly and be prepped. Now, a lot of us don't prep for meetings. We don't have time to prep for meetings. We just jump from meetings to meetings. So I found that to be one task where I was like, I should be able to automate that with AI, right? So it starts with an audit and then really writing down all your options. And then I use a really simple methodology once I look at all my options called the ICE prioritization technique. I look at each one of these things that I wrote down on my sheet of paper and I give them a score 0 to 10 on three elements. Impact. How much does this contribute to our goals, right? Our goal as a company, or maybe my goal, right? Well, if I prepped for meetings properly, uh, I would have better outcomes as a CEO, which could lead to really big opportunities. So, as far as impact, I would get that very high, a 10 out of 10, right? My next one is confidence, and this is really difficult right now because a lot of us just don't know what AI can even do. So, you have to ask yourself in the world of prepping for a meeting, how much confidence do I have that I can actually build something out that does this? So we'll come back to that because I want to share how I went through that, and it was a learning process. But you have to put a number from 0 to 10. How confident are we that AI can do this task? How confident was I at that given day that I could write an AI script that went out and went on LinkedIn, scraped the web, and did all these things? I was kind of at the time, 6 months ago, I was sitting at like a 3 out of 10. And then the last one. So we have impact, confidence, and the last one is the effort. How much effort is it really going to take to do? And the effort factors in time, cost, complexity, overall effort, right? So once you do that and you multiply these scores together, you have your ICE score. And that then tells you which task you should work on because it has the highest score on impact, confidence, and effort. And that's where you start.
Yeah. That makes perfect sense. And just to, I want you to keep going on this thread, but what I heard you say to reflect back, if we work with owners to learn to delegate, and to a degree, I hear you saying that in a way you can delegate certain things to AI, but you start
Yeah.
small, test it out, and go from there.
So maybe we'll go down the route of my lessons learned and why I do the things I do. So I did the ICE score, impact, confidence, and effort, after I did an audit of what I work on throughout the week, and the one that scored the highest was prepping for meetings. Okay, now I knew what I wanted to automate with AI, and I was focused. My confidence score still wasn't there. So the first step I had to do was, one, I had to document, if I had endless time, what does the perfect prepping for meeting look like? So I just grabbed a piece of paper and started writing it down. Now I'm 50, so I still like to write on paper, right? So other people might have other mechanisms, but I love my pen and paper and pencil and paper, right? So you can't change. You can't, like, when you use AI, right? When you use AI specifically, or technology, and you're changing a business process, if you want to truly understand something, you have to try to change it, right? So if you want to truly understand something, try to change it. So the first step was I had to document how I currently prep for meetings and what the future of that prepping looked like. Next, I had to find some AI way of solving this. And after doing some research, I discovered uh, uh, a word that we all hear now called AI agents, right? For those that don't know, AI agents are a very broad word to use in the world of AI. So in this context, I'm going to say AI agents the following thing in this context. We all know what a workflow is. A workflow is, a statement of inputs that are coming out. And as it has the inputs, it has a if statement or a then statement to make a decision and do something else. That's a simple workflow. And then you get an output. I try to bring everything at like a fourth grade level sometimes. At a fourth grade level, right? At a fourth grade level, an AI agent is that, and it has the power of a large language model, an LLM, which is ChatGPT 5.0 or Claude 4.5 or Gemini. Those are all LLMs. In this example, for no reason, I just said, I'm going to use Claude, right? Right. So an AI agent has to have an LLM model, Claude, and it needs two other things. It needs memory, because as it goes through the workflow, an AI agent needs to have some memory to store the data as it's learning along the way. So an AI agent has to have an LLM model, and it has to have memory. The third and last item an AI agent needs is it needs tools. It needs tools, and this definition could mean a lot of things. A tool could be your email. It could be my Google Calendar. It could be my Google Contacts. It could be my web browser. It could be HubSpot. It could be LinkedIn. All these are tools that can connect to an AI agent through a new technology that came out where you can just connect these things like Legos, right? So you have your workflow, you have an AI agent. Um, so uh, in automating this task of prepping for my meetings, I decided it was an AI agent that I needed to build, and I had my workflow, I had my tools, and now you had to find a product or a tool to build this in, right? So where do you go now? So did some research, and there's a lot of options there. Products like make.com, which is a really simple version of making AI agents. A little more complex is a product called N8N, which is one of my favorite ones, which ultimately is one that I picked. And then there's custom coding it. You can do that. And now ChatGPT recently came out with building AI agents in ChatGPT 5, right? So you have all these options. Which one you pick, you just got to play. There's no playbook here, and you can spend a lot of time playing.
Yeah.
To
Hey,
some,
Nick, can I stop you there for a second?
yeah, yeah,
Because that's a big issue, I think. Most of the folks we work with are baby boomers who are either think or Gen Xers who are thinking about exit, and some are more tech oriented than others. Corby and I, mid 60s, tech has not always been one of our strongest core competencies, if you will, and so there going to be aversion to it. So how does someone just who has any kind of aversion to it just get started? I mean, do you have to identify somebody on your team who's just not afraid of this stuff, or do you have to hire somebody? Both? How do you do it?
yeah. So I think there's a couple ways there. I mean, you don't, depending on your situation, ideally you learn it and just do it yourself. Okay, not all of us can do that, right? And that's okay. That's okay. So now you have an option. Then you better have resources, because if you're not going to do it yourself, then you have to have the resources to either rent the talent, right? Buy the talent. There's only so many options here, right? What else? You can rent it. You can buy it. What else can you do? Uh, Partner with someone. I don't know. That there's only so many things. If if you don't want to learn it, or you don't have time, or it's just not your thing, but you want it, there's only so many options you have as a business owner. So uh, yeah, then you buy the talent or rent it, right? So you either bring someone in full time. If you have people in your organization, you can promote someone, but then you also have to do a lot of things there. Um, so this opens up a whole nother can of worms. So we're gonna divert to another problem that you bring up here. In your business, you really have to build a culture where, if you're bringing AI into your culture, you have to support it, and it's something new. So you got to give people the skills in order to excel at this. Because if you don't invest in their skills, they're going to have massive anxiety and they'll quit. You have to give them a vision of what success looks like, or else they're going to have confusion. You have to incentivize them properly, because without the proper incentives, right, you're going to have resistance. You're going to have to give them the right resources. Maybe those resources are budget. Maybe it's time. You're giving them time. You're saying, say no to this and do this. And by giving them resources, you're reducing frustration. So there's certain things that you're going to have to do if you bring it to someone in your organization. If you buy it, probably one of the hardest things that I'm seeing out there is, because this is so new, 1,000 days. Everybody's like, yeah, I can do that for you. How do you think that works out? They're learning on your dime.
Yeah,
It's
right.
really different.
Uh-huh.
It's
Yeah.
really different. So when you're buying it, you want to make sure that you're seeing people that have solved similar like problems, and you have enough trust that they can do it. And that's a whole nother process, right? Again, it's not like people are coming out with master's degrees and this stuff. It's changing daily.
Well,
Right.
yeah. And you just mentioned trust again. Trust, I mentioned it, you mentioned it. So there's two areas of trust here. Uh, First off, trusting and having more confidence in AI and the information you get from it. But then, two, trusting whoever it is that you're considering to help you put it in place and put the right tools in place. So,
Yeah,
boy, that can result in paralysis, right?
yeah,
And a lot of hesitancy as to how and when to move forward.
yeah. I mean, trust over here. I always define trust in two buckets, right? A person's competency and a person's character, right? Competency, people should be able to show you examples, to be able to speak intelligently about the problem. Character takes time, right? So you got to put in the time to build that relationship. So I always look at the person's character and then their competency. To me, if we have that, we're starting to build trust. And once you build trust, well, then the famous quote of we can now move at the speed of trust, right? Which is what we all want. So it's a conundrum right now on executing these projects. Internally, expect uh, your if you're bringing it internally, which I highly recommend companies do, that's the best place to start. Have a good change management in place. Make sure you have the right vision, consensus of your team, skills, incentives, resources, and a good action plan for your team. All those things matter. If you're buying it, make sure that you're looking at a person's the competency and the character of the organization or the person you're hiring to help fulfill it, and and then you treat it like any other IT project. You know, these things require, they're not one and done. You build it, now you got to nurture it, you got to maintain it. There's a fee for it, monthly, daily. It changes, right? It's kind of like you're treated like the best analogy I'll give you that probably most business owners might be able to understand is if you have a website. When you build these AI agents that automate processes, think of them as a website. You got to constantly feed it, monitor it, tweak it. There's maintenance, there's hosting, there's security updates. AI agents are the same thing.
Yeah. So, I mean, what I hear you saying is that overall there needs to be an ever increasing corporate knowledge of AI, the tools, and how to use it, be it in the owner, be it in the staff, or or be it that they're smart enough to hire the right partner that will actually help move ahead.
Yeah, I think every company should really be focusing, no matter what business you're in, you have to have an answer to this type of technology in some manner, because what it's really doing for the first time is it's able to do low cognitive thinking and analysis quickly, fast, and at a low cost. And a lot of time that people have right now, when you do that audit that I talked about, you'd be really surprised how much of your time is spent there versus on what you should be doing in your daily life. Uh, so, um, if not, you'll be the blockbuster and the Netflix will come by.
Yeah, right,
I mean,
right. No, it makes sense. And then
Mhm.
I had another question that's a somewhat of a gear shift, but I heard you present a few weeks ago, and one of the other things that you highlighted is just how to interact with AI, i.e., how to
yeah,
ask better questions, how to be a smarter interface with the tool. Can you kind of
yeah,
explain that a little bit?
yeah. So there's a lot there. I'm thinking of the best way to answer this, because
Hmm.
really, in order to answer this the right way, you have to understand how AI works.
Hmm.
So by saying the answer right away, I think
Hmm.
people are going to miss the boat completely and jump to some conclusions. So
Hmm.
maybe
Hmm.
we'll have a 10-minute lesson here on how it kind of works at a high level. And then that will get you the answer of how you engage with it.
Yep.
So this is probably going to be the secret sauce here that I think really demystifies a lot. Fair?
Fair. Yeah. Yeah. Go.
So we're
Hmm.
gonna have to get a little nerdy here. So put on your nerd hat, everybody, because this is
Hmm.
will be somewhat nerdy. Okay, the first step people have to understand is there's tokens. The word tokens, and what is a token, right? Uh, so tokens. I'm gonna put everything at fourth grade level here. All right.
Hmm.
Tokens for this conversation is going to be syllables and words. So if I say what are tokens, that's going to be roughly 5 tokens. What are tokens can be one or twos. In this case, shoot, we'll even say that's 2 tokens right there. And then you have a question mark, right? So that's 5. So what are tokens question mark is 5 tokens, right? It splits it up. You
Mhm.
with me?
Yep.
Hmm.
Tokens are really important to understand because everything in AI gets converted to a token. And the reason being is tokens can be in English, they can be videos, Later on, they could be audio files, they could be graphics. It has to break everything up into syllables. And when things are broken up into tokens, AI converts everything to a number, right? So things get broken up in tokens and then they get converted to a number. In this conversation, those numbers are nothing more than coordinates, we'll call them. Okay? And think of a three-dimensional database that we're just plotting these tokens in a three-dimensional database and making lines, right? Connections. It's connecting them all. So you have coordinates in this three-dimensional database, and it's just making connections, lines to everything. And that's called a vector database, and that's what powers AI. The reason why AI is capable of doing what it can do is because everything is now vectors. They're all connected linear to each other. Everything's connected, right? So the reason why this is important, things like Microsoft Excel, real simple database, we'll say. You have a column and a row, and everything's a one-to-one relationship. In a vector database, everything connects. So if I was to say king is to man as woman is to king is to man as woman is to
queen,
right? Because you took the context of king and man, woman, well, it's probably queen. You made the connection, right? If I said Paris is to France as USA is to
Washington
D.C.
Is it Washington? Is it Washington, D.C.? Is it D.C.? Is it D period, C period? Is it District of Columbia? In an Excel sheet, it's a one-to-one. You only get one answer, and that's really good for some specific, really good things. In AI, it's not one-to-one. It can't be. It has to think broader and bigger. So the reason why all of those things are right, Washington, D.C., District of Columbia, so forth, right? So it's making all these linear connections. And what AI does is it takes all these data and creates clusters of all these connections, right? Now, earlier I said it's a three-dimensional database. Now I want you to comprehend all these coordinates and look up to the universe and look at stars and galaxies, right? Imagine space, and we're talking about plumbing. We're going to go to this galaxy. And in that galaxy, we have all the data about plumbing. And all the stars are connected with coordinates. If we're talking about mergers and acquisitions, we're going to leave this galaxy and go over here. And they're all connected, right? Now let's take our nerd hats off for a second. Imagine all the information we have on the web and every book in the world and anything that's been published is moved into a token and uploaded into this database of the universe, and they're all connected, right? How do you engage with that?
Right.
And there is a prompt that we do. Those prompts that we write have to tell AI what galaxy in space to go to and what stars are we connecting. And it's that vast, right? So whenever you start with your first prompt, whenever you engage with ChatGPT or Claude or whatever it is for the first time, you have to give it the right prompt. More importantly, you have to give it the right context. Right? It's not just about prompt engineering, it's prompt and context engineering, because you have to tell it when you look up in the sky, where are you even looking?
Which galaxy?
Yeah, which galaxy you want to go to. So that's why it's so important. You say, hey, let's start with the first thing I should tell it. Give it your role or persona. I'm a CEO. Great. Now we're looking at this galaxy. right? I want you to analyze my P&L. Hey, you're a CEO. Here's everything I know about CEOs in this galaxy. Now I'm going to connect it with this galaxy over here about P&L. And the two of them are connected.
Mm-hmm.
Now I want you to analyze this information and give me a format or output that looks like this. Then I want the goal of this to be as clear as possible. And I want to give it any other references of any other data points to bring it all together. But then it's still not good enough. After you do all that, ChatGPT or whatever you're using, ask me a couple questions before you answer what I just told you. So you can clarify inside the galaxy what solar system you want to be in and what stars and planets you want to connect.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I use a technique on my first prompts in context engineering. I go my personas. I give it some examples and demonstrations of what I want. I give it a format or output that I want. I give it the objective or the goal that I want. I give it some context or references of what I want. I ask for some questions back to me, and then I set some constraints and hit enter.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Then once I get that, then I'll do I call it one shot. Gives me my output. I'm like, hey, that's pretty close. Do this, do that, right?
Yeah.
Now I'm just fine tuning. So to answer your question,
You're answering.
in order to talk to ChatGPT, you have to understand how it works and how vast it is,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And what you have to do is think you got the power of the universe. You just got to guide this thing into what galaxy you want to be in and how to connect the dots. And once you do that and you have prompt and context engineering done, that's the best way to engage with it.
Yeah.
So hey, Nick, so there's 7. You mentioned 7. There's I'm just going to mention a few. Claude, you mentioned Claude, ChatGPT, Grok, DeepSeek, Perplexity. There's like 7 of those, right? So do you decide which one of those you're going to use depending on the galaxy that you want to get information from? Because all
Well,
those places,
yeah,
all those things draw from different sources, right?
yeah. So that's a great question. Uh, I'll get really crazy here. We'll just say ChatGPT is the solar system we know today,
Mm-hmm.
right? We'll say Gemini, which is great, is a whole nother solar system.
Uh-huh.
That's how vast this stuff is. So
Mm.
you have to decide which one you want to use, right? It really, people overanalyze the crap out of this. Oh my gosh, I don't know if I want to get on ChatGPT. I don't know if it's Claude. I don't know if it's Gronk. Pick one. Like, it really doesn't matter. Pick one. They all have pro and cons. If you're super technical and are planning to do some coding, I personally think Claude's awesome and Claude Code. I think that's great for companies. It's also Claude's an excellent, excellent product. Excellent. Our more technical people like it here. I used it for a very long time. I recently moved to ChatGPT for no other reason than to explore other systems, right? And I use Gemini. Those are my big 3 that I use, but there's several others. Is one better than the other? Look, they're all going to start leveling out, and it's all about how you can interact with it and engage with it.
Yeah.
Right? So you just got to find the one that kind of hits with you. At a personal level, doesn't matter. If you're starting to scale this into a small business or large business, it's a different problem, right? For small businesses, I really like Claude and ChatGPT of how you can deploy teams and have some security measures and shared work between each other, between Claude and ChatGPT. Is one better than the other? Like I said, if you're planning on doing some code, you're definitely going to be using Claude. If you're doing if you want a simple way to just get something in your business that's a little easier to use, and you're just really engaging with it, uploading files, analyzing stuff, ChatGPT is great.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, Nick, I
Okay.
wanted to highlight one thing that you mentioned in passing that for me was somewhat of an aha moment is tell it to ask you questions. You know, that was just a really helpful thought that I think so often I want to ask the questions. I keep asking the questions, but
Yeah, yeah,
asking you questions helps narrow, right?
yeah. It's definitely and now ChatGPT and Claude will do it automatically. Once they answer your question, they'll have a little thing on the bottom. But
Exactly.
prior to even doing that, ask it to ask you questions. And again, what you're doing,
Yeah.
there's so much information and junk out there. You're
Right.
just clarifying what to connect.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So Nick, you've been very generous with your time. Thank you. It's fantastic. What ex, describe if it for a new client or a client of yours, how does Orases help your clients with all the stuff we've been talking about?
Yeah. So a couple things. I mean, we've been doing custom software for 25 years, and at the end of the day, the techniques of bringing AI change management into your organization, the way of finding where there's opportunities in your organization through AI, and all the things that go with it, is nothing more than technology. That's it. You know, so we bring a vast amount of uh, problem solving uh,
Mm-hmm.
and ways to find solutions in your business very quickly. And sometimes AI is not the answer. Everyone starts these conversations with AI, and we're like, it's not AI at all. It's just a simple little software that you need, and it fixes things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we come in, we help companies figure out, where there's opportunities, where they can simplify, automate, or eliminate waste in their organization with technology, and we brainstorm with them on options of how you bring it in, whether it's AI or not. And
Mm-hmm.
we work with companies on building software that runs their business.
Yeah, as we close here, is there a question that we should have asked that we didn't?
Oh man, I mean, like I said, there's so many ways we could go here. I think the big thing that people, different people are at different stages, with where they are and what they want to do. Uh, I would really say, just start playing with this a little bit. Start engaging with using AI, start understanding it, start asking questions. If you're in a business, some of the top things you can do is start having people share how they're using AI in their business. Uh, but don't be scared of it. Start using it, start exploring with it. Don't be one of those people that don't be the blockbuster out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Very good. Okay.
And
Hey,
no at the end. Everyone has the fear of missing out. They don't know where to start. They have the fear of the competition. They have the
Mm-hmm.
fear of spending money with no ROI, and they have a fear of what it's
Mm-hmm.
going to do to their culture.
Mm-hmm.
Every company's feeling that.
Yeah.
yeah, and so you gave a couple of good steps early on. Audit the time, take that step, start audit, and you can use pencil and paper to do that. Uh, and the ICE processor score,
Mm-hmm.
impact, confidence, and effort. Was there a third one that you meant to get to that we didn't get to?
As far as a prioritization,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
well, I use the ICE methodology when it's simple
Mm-hmm.
things that are like for the personal person. If I'm doing more complex business things, I'll add in there strategic how it if it connects to strategic goals, right?
Mhm.
And
Mm-hmm.
then I'll also add a priority. So you could add that in your multiplier. And yes, that does spell
Mm-hmm.
spice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fantastic. All right. Hey, Nick, is there anything you'd like to promote? And then, too, how can folks reach you if they want to talk to you
Yeah,
and Orasis?
yeah. So yeah, if there's one thing I would promote. it would definitely be come over to our website, orases.com. Again, that's orases.com. The name of the company, by the way, which I was having fun with this, Pat, through the entire time, but it's all good. It's called Orases. And
Yeah.
Orases means vision in the future. Totally cool. People do it all the time. The cool thing is, Pat, you win a special T-shirt when people give it a different name, so I'll send that your way.
Oh, yeah.
Sweet.
So the name of the company is Orases.
I'm a large. I'm a large.
Yeah. So check it out. Check out our
Okay.
website. Look, if you
Yeah.
have an interest of just learning about AI, you're looking for a good technology partner, or if you're looking to have one of our team members come into your organization and speak to your organization, so we demystify it together, and you can start taking this journey. We can do that as well.
Fantastic.
Very good.
All right. Thank you, Nick. That was tremendous.
Yeah.
And listeners, if you'd like help building that business so that it's transferable and sellable, or planning that eventual exit, maybe you just don't know what to do. You don't know whether you want to sell to a third party, sell to insiders, do an ESOP. You just don't know, and you need someone to help you figure that out. You can reach us through our website at either ennislp.com or ExitReadiness.com. Again, thank you for listening. If you've benefited from today's episode, I know you have, please consider liking it, sharing it on social media. Please subscribe to the podcast if you've yet to do it. And until next time on the Exit Readiness Podcast, this is Pat Ennis and Corby McGordon signing off.